Let's just settle into our meditation posture. And sorry, I'm checking. Okay. And so I did let Venerable Dundrup know, because it's all over the website, that we're really not supposed to be using that the other image. And I've offered him the image of the photograph that I took. So I'll wait to hear back from him. So we might see the other image being used, but I'll just see what he says. I just said, I asked them directly and they said, no, you can't use it. So I don't think we should. Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. So let's just, what am I doing? Settle into our meditation posture and position as best you can. Settle yourself in. And just try and maybe just recollect the events of today and see how it's all settling in your mind. Maybe something very exciting happened today. Maybe something disturbing happened. Maybe you've had a very neutral day in terms of your feelings. So check your position now. If your feet are on the ground, just have them really connecting to the earth. The earth is supporting you, the soles of your feet. No matter whether your hen store is up or on a house on the ground, in a tent, in a car, wherever you are, there's the earth underneath you somewhere. Sit and be sitting on top of your sits bones, even if you are in the regular, just sitting on a chair. And imagine your spine lengthening, putting some space in between those vertebrae. And just putting a bit of length in your back. Allow your head to tip forward very slightly with a little bit of traction in the back of the neck, not too far forward. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. If they were open, tip the tongue on the roof of the mouth and just relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks. And then the back of the head, just release any tension there. Back of the neck, the ears, the inner ear. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. The throat, relax. Relax the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just bring the mind back to the breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then just be aware if there are any sounds in your environment that might be distracting you. You get happily distracted. And try not to follow those sounds and bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what is arising again. So is it, it's only been a couple of minutes in, but is what's arising in your mind now the same as what was arising in your mind when you landed on your chair, your cushion. And try and put some space in between those thoughts. And just imagine all your thoughts, if you like. One way of putting some space in between them is to stick each thought on just place each thought on a nice little white fluffy cloud, maybe a little lotus. Just send it off. And see what happens. Grab your thought mid-sentence, put it on a little cloud or a lotus, send it off. Don't engage with it. And then where does your mind go with that? Just experiment. Kind of takes the energy out of it. So bring to mind all the people of your life. So your loved ones, nearest and dearest. Then those people in your life who you're not super comfortable with. And then there's those folks in your life who are complete strangers. Remembering they can change place at any time. And also remember they're equal. The same as you and me, and they wish to be happy. And they wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation for all these people of our life. We're thinking at this time, particularly, with a lot of prayers have been done for Rinpoche's swift return. And also continue to think of Israel, who's, I understand this was his main practice, the Vajrasattva. So we can do it at this time on his behalf. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of this future suffering that we will experience. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I am sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we take refuge, we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who has the methods we can use to purify. And so we're not needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your Lama, your teacher, manifesting in this form for your benefit. So Vajrasattva, imagine is made of beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals, so they're long horizontally. And they're full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So you can think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of those who've harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you will ripen as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next is a purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body, all the negativity of your speech, which overflows, disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, inappropriate speech, not knowing what to say at the right time, when to keep your mouth shut, when to speak. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Spokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Spokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and it arcs around, enters your crown, and fills your entire being. So just imagine you're walking into a pitch black room, you flick on the switch, and the light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same, the light from Vajrasattva's heart, the moment it hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so any depression or anxiety or attachment or grasping or neediness, anger, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled by this light. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next, imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar and filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your omniscience, your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the fourth and final step in the purification process, as we make a decision to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So a little bit later today. So just think very briefly about something that you'd like to work on, something you have been working on. Don't forget to rejoice. Just bring it to the forefront of your mind, so the next time where something starts to fall out of your mouth, you just stop yourself. And gradually you'll find that you keep making a promise to yourself, I'm going to start thinking about refraining from harming. You will. It will start to happen. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher, my spiritual mentor's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So you will just kind of merges into one. So next, a little bit about emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, place it there for a little while. In this way, thinking all phenomena are empty, they do not exist from their own side. And let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so let's do some of these prayers. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche's swift return, the lamp of the Geden teachings, the supreme refuge, Lama Zopa has departed in order to rouse the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Kadam teacher's way of life and were bound to it night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings, great master of the teachings, supreme guide for the East and West, hidden yogi, Lama Thupten Zopa. Unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness, the Sovereign, Lord of the Victorious Ones, as your crown and followed his instructions, all his instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardship. One of great mind, Lama Zopa, you held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and with their holy savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of the ocean of mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Thupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Geden teachings, in truth a great son of the victorious ones. Venerable One, to whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. Geshe share a beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Lots of love, sweet dreams, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for hosting. I guess